Hello everyone, welcome to another Julia visual guide. This guide is quite specific since I will be covering her lows and how to optimize them. There is some sort of misunderstanding as of why her fast low pokes are minus on hit. So people would come to the conclusion that these moves are scary to use against characters with fast counter hit tools, which is not always right. And this is what I will be covering in this video. So let's jump into it. Down 3 is 13 frames fast, minus 1 on hit and plus 4 on counter hit. This Julie has to go low poke, and this is very good if mixed with her other counter hit tools and high crushes. The key here is to know your opponent. If they are the type who loves to jab after down 3, you can either duck and punch the jabs or just use a crushing tool like quarter circle forward 2 or down back 1. This might force them to use some mid option to stop you from using high crusher. This is when Julia counter hit tools comes to play. Use 1-1-1 if they commit for anything slower than jabs. Just be careful, since you are most likely not playing against an AI, and they might duck and launch you themselves. I would also recommend to train your eyes on getting used to counter hit confirm 1-1-1. And you can only do that in matches, since you can confirm whether your opponent have pressed a button or not. So you are more like reacting to you watching him getting hit by a counter hit, rather than hit confirming the string itself, since there is no delay in between inputs. Also make sure you don't rely too much on counter hitting your opponent or frame trapping them, or else you might find yourself becoming way too full of charting and easy to read. Julia's down 3 best feature is that she puts a space between her and her opponents after landing it successfully, so it leaves plenty of room for you to backdash and whiff punish most of your opponent's fast options, so put that option in your mind to play it safe. Last thing I'm going to cover for down 3 is the counter hit properties. On counter hit, it forces the opponent to crouch, and best option here to lock them down is down forward 1. Since they can't do anything about it other than blocking it, and this move is godlike. Also, if you notice your opponent started to give you too much respect, counter hit down 3 gives you the perfect space for war drums and down 1+2 mix-ups. Moving on to down back 4-1. The low by itself is great since it has a good dragging and an okay range. It is minus 4 on hit and minus 12 on block, while the second hit is minus 10 only on block. The strength in this string is due to the ability of delaying the second hit, so if you are at minus 4 and they try to frame trap you, they would get hit if you delay the second hit. What makes this down back 4-1 amazing is that if they commit to punish the low and their back was against the wall, they would get wall supplanted, and this will teach them the lesson to not punish down back 4 if they are near the wall, ever again. I hope. This string become a natural combo even if you delay the second hit heavily. Unfortunately, there are no visual indications to tell the difference between a counter hit and a normal hit. Next is her back 3. It's quite slow since it's 27 frames fast, and I've seen many people asking me why do I use this slow. But this is in my opinion one of her most important tools, since it's a real high crusher, counter hit launches, and safe on max range, and can only be punished from tip range by Dragunov's 1+2, Leo's 1+2, and Julia's full crouch down forward 2. I would like to mention it is also good to use while standing 3 after back 3, since it will lock all of your opponent options because back 3 is +4 and while standing 3 is a homing mid 14 frames fast, so it locks them completely, and once your opponent is aware of that, they will stand to block. You will be able to sneak bow and arrow to mix them up between the mid and low option. Back 3 has the 4 extension, but to be honest I don't recommend that unless you're catching someone off guard with it, since it can be low parried even if back 3 landed on hit. And there are no real mix-ups with it, since it's really slow. Next up is down 4. Down 4 is minus 2 on hit and equal on counter hit. This move is gimmicky. While I'm not a fan of it personally, I would explain why some people use it or like it. Down 4 by its own is minus 16, but its extension is what makes it better, since if your opponent attempts to punish the first hit, you can continue the string with the mid launcher or the low. There is also the high kick, but it is not recommended because you don't get much from it, and if they were going to block the low, they would duck it anyways. Since down 4 is minus 2 on hit, it would trade with 13 frames mids, and if the mid doesn't have a knockdown properties, Julia would be able to get a full combo of while standing 4. The only way to beat while standing 4 option is to use a fast 12 frames mid, but this would continuing the string become dangerous for your opponent to commit, and it would make them think twice before frame trapping down 4. Next up is my favorite addition from Season 3, which is Sidestep 4. It has an amazing range, it's a +3 on hit, and has a guaranteed follow-up on counter hit, with a beefy combo of near the wall. What makes this low amazing is that you can control the timing of it. You can sidestep and store it for at least 4 frames. This usually catch people who fuzzy guard whenever they see the sidestep happen. Also, using sidestep 2 to mix it with sidestep 4 is an amazing option here, since they both share the same range and almost the same speed. Now we're covering one of my favorite lows, which is Swift Step 4. I'm going to name it Swift 4 if you don't mind. It's +2 on hit, so you use down forward 1 to lock your opponent. Jabs would trade though, but this is the best option to use after Swift 4. One of this moves the greatest uses after her Shining Wizard combo ender. If you use it after your opponent get up backwards, they will have to guess between the low and mid options. Once your opponent figure out that you will use Swift mix-ups, they will simply stay on the floor and side roll instead. So you just dash into down 1 + 2 to punish the side roll. Now to the famous war drums, and my favorite low of all time. I kid you not, but I almost thought about leaving it to its own dedicated video because of how you can set this up in many different ways in different situations. But I'm going to cover the most important and consistent ways for you to connect it. War drums is a low high mid string. It would only be a natural combo if it connects on counter hit. But if you space it right and make the low only hits, it will become a natural combo with the mid follow-up. While it's dangerous because it is launch punishable, you can hit confirm it because even if you delay the second hit, it would still connect. Just to practice it and get the timing right. Well, there are many possibilities for when or how to use war drums, but I only wanted to give you a general idea of its uses. Now to the last low, which is full crouch down forward 3-4, aka bow and arrow. This low is great when it's mixed with Julia's crouching tools like wall standing 3, wall standing 1 and the hop kick. It also gives you a great OK in the open and guaranteed forward 1 near the wall. You obviously don't want to duck in front of your opponent to do this low, and instead you'll be using it with moves like down 2. Down 2 is a great tool to enter a crouching stance with Julia, and since it's a +7 on hit, the only way to interrupt your bow and arrow is to low crush it. But if you know your opponent would hop kick or do a low crush, just use while standing 3 and it's going to counter hit them. Another great move that makes you enter crouching stance is sidestep 2. It's +3 on hit, and the only thing that would beat bow and arrow is the 12 frame mid. I would also like to mention that bow and arrow has a great usage for moves that forces you to crouch and is minus on block. This is all I have for today. I hope you all enjoyed the video and found it useful. If you have any questions, leave a comment below or direct message me on Twitter or Discord. The links are in the description. Like always, thank you all for watching, and of course,
don't forget to subscribe!